Hello, everybody. You're joining us for another panel. Don't let the ad above your head, above my head, fool you. Indie Advocates is being replaced by Comic Book Advocates. That is beginning to happen as of last night. But that's not what the panel is for today. We'll actually have an entire panel discussing why we changed and what that means, believe it or not, next week. So tune into that. I'm talented, very amazing and gracious creator with us today. Great artist. I actually have some brand new art from him. Luke Stone is with us. Luke, tell him who you are, and then we'll explain why we're here.
All right. Yeah, my name is Luke Stone. I am the writer and the artist behind a book called Hybrids, the Sons of Gods. And I also work on a few other titles with people as colorer, letterer, artist on some different things. I am the project manager at Starcross Comics, which means basically I help a person go from concept to finished book for varying degrees of however much they might need help with that. And I also work with the continuity for everything over there. So that's kind of my job description. And I like to make comics. I like to do words and pictures. That's my thing.
And of course, just for those in the cheap seats, I am the advocating indie devil, and I'm going to be going probably by the creative devil in the near future, comic book advocate, or underground devil. I'm trying to walk away from the word indie. We'll explain more later on, but that's not today's topic. Today's topic is about Kickstarter videos, and it's kind of telling. A lot of people didn't want to be on this show. Kickstarter pause kind of has changed, I think, the way people are looking at videos, believe it or not. I have a lot of creators now asking me what I think a good video will be. And it's kind of weird to know that something that we started was actually one of the first people on Kickstarter pause before it even had a name, back when we were just calling it Kickstarter Gone. Hey, no, Jaxie. So it's interesting to see it's grown to the point where people are now nervous about making their videos. What do you think? Have we actually made an impact by being honest?
You know, I hope so. I really do. I've gleaned a lot of advice and good information and wisdom and knowledge from all of the Kickstarter pause videos out there. In fact, I was helping someone who I think was on Kickstarter pause today, a guy named Michael Odin. Helped him with his video, and I had started to develop his video into kind of one of those kind of like a movie trailer type thing. And then, you know, I'm learning that that's not what's getting people to back projects. They need the infomercial, the teaser to get into the rest of the into the rest of the project, looking through the story and stuff. So I kind of redid his stuff to be able to do kind of lean more towards that and have it more his voice than someone else's. So
now, a lot of these videos, we actually don't talk about the current pandemic. We don't talk about any of that because we expect people to watch the video later. Here's the kicker. Because this is about Kickstarter videos, the trends change very quickly. There's a lot of monkey see, monkey do. And it's actually a little bit dangerous. Same with marketing. And we've seen, like Luke's saying, we've seen all these people trying to do movie trailers, but they're not really resonating. I can't tell you how many people I've had on the show right now, and I mean that actually, because we've been going for weeks now and have had a lot of guests. No one likes the movie trailers. Why do you think that is? That people, I have, of course, a suspicion, but why do you think people don't like those movie trailer ones?
Well, I think because they're just too vague. You know, there's that whole thing where they just want to know if it's a story they're going to like. Is it, you know, what does it relate to? Does it relate to me? What is it? What else is it like? Is it something I'm going to be interested in? Some of these movie trailers, they get into these long, epic, kind of like diatribes where they're just kind of talking about God knows what. They're trying to be very poetic and all of that. And it just beats around the bush. And sometimes they try too hard to be funny and it comes off cheesy. And, you know, I learned I'm not real good at doing the serious kind of voiceovers. And so I learned that my book come across as very comical, you know, like it was a comedy or tongue in cheek, and it wasn't. And so I think that when you try to do those movie trailers, I think that's what it is. They just want it sweet and to the point and try to make it as short as possible, I think. Of course, I'm no expert, but you're muted.
Sorry, I was trying to add something. And I totally agree. I think you've grabbed every word that I would have said about it. And the only thing I would add, and it's not even a huge thing, I also think that you're being pretentious. I think most people see you on Kickstarter. Why do you want to look like you have a multi-million-dollar budget? Why are you trying to look like your daddy Warbucks making this big trailer? And to the trailer companies, and I'll tell you, 90% of the time, I can tell you what company did it within the first 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Just how quick I can tell which company is which. So there's been this great group of people who have convinced people they need these videos that they don't need. Statistically don't work. And I've seen a lot of creators and no one's been impressed, but they all go, no. I'm telling you, this is how I've seen other videos. What they're not remembering is when they're seeing those other videos, they're not watching them. They're stopping to watch them. They're hitting forward. They're going away. Sometimes we try to be too much like the Jones and not enough like the Smiths.
Yeah. Well, let's point out the Todd father, if we will. Todd McFarlane, he's on Kickstarter. And if you watch his Kickstarter video, it's 6 minutes of no voiceover, no special graphics. It's 6 minutes of him showing you the product that he's selling you. Hey, here's this action figure. We're going to do it like this one, but we're going to do it bigger because I like bigger. And so basically he is pitching what the thing is that you're buying, and it's super low budget, and it's right to the point. And the dude made $2 million on it so far. So
yeah, it humbles us all. But again, he's selling a toy of a pre-established brand, and he probably could have done a movie trailer and it would have made sense, but he didn't. He came right to it. He understands Kickstarter more than you do, most of you creators out there. I'm just being honest. He did a full press ad on explaining why he was going to Kickstarter, why he thinks Kickstarters are going good. And you guys are out there trying to be like, what, Marvel and DC? The biggest mistake creators do right now is they try to be like Marvel and DC. Why would you want to be like Marvel and DC, who the companies themselves have painted themselves into a corner because they were so consistent at just giving you one thing. Anytime they try to give you something different, you all get upset and melt down into puddles. Don't be like someone that you're criticizing. Try to be you. Try to do the best impression you can do until it stops being an impression. You just start being genuine. That's what you got to do even with your videos. And remember, be kind and share. I can't stress that enough, how important that is. Not just this video, not just subscribing to our channel, but other people's channels, being involved, getting other people up the ladder, as it were, in this industry. And here's why. The more people that go up, the more they bring everything with us. And I said this recently, and Luke didn't actually comment in it, but we've had conversations about it. So I'm pretty sure Luke will agree with me. There are a lot of people out there calling something a comic book. It kind of looks like a comic book. It's got a front cover. It's got a back cover. It's got art. And it's got lettering. You think it's a comic book, but when you sit down and you read it, you suddenly realize this isn't a comic book. It's a book with a bunch of words without a story. This is, at best, a storyboard. And more honestly, it's probably just drawings with ideas. And people don't understand quality. And I think that comes back to these videos. Because they either try really, really hard with pretty art, but then they don't tell a story. See? Stories are important. If your Kickstarter video is not telling a story, it somehow has to tell a story. Would you agree with me, Luke?
I would. I don't know how, I get a chance to look at some of the submissions for Starcross Comics. And I'll be honest with you, some of these things that you see are actually just 18-page or 20-page commercials. They're basically just a pitch. And, a pitch is one thing, but really you want to kind of get past just the, basic origin of a character, what motivates that character, and get into a deeper sense of the story. And I think that some of these videos, and maybe I'm wrong here, but as a consumer who backs not nearly as many campaigns as you have, Rob, but I do back. But my dollars are few, so I choose I'm very picky about where I put my money, especially in a Kickstarter. I look at have they successfully funded things before? Is this their first comic, second, third, fourth? Where are they at in the scheme of things? Do they know how to complete a project? Those sorts of things. And sometimes, as I'm looking at these videos, I think that what they're trying to do is add a lot of sizzle and not give me any meat. They're trying to distract from the fact that they don't have story or they don't have content really to share. Even as simple as it is, it can be very simple, a simple story, but tell a story.
Mm-hmm. And I just think that and that's a gripe I have. I don't care about the quality of art as much as I care about the quality of story.
Yeah.
Because I will say this to the end of days, you can't have a comic book without a good story. Your artist might be busting their ass to do the best work of their life because they're going to use that as a way to advertise for them in the future. They're going to build beautiful art. And let's say that Luke didn't really believe in my story, Cat Dad and Supermom. And I'm only going to talk about my stories here because I don't want anyone disparaged. Because we actually had, and I was telling Luke this, I think I told you this.
Yes.
I might not. The guy who wanted to be removed.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Twitter pause, right?
Yeah.
And it's like he's having a failing project, and his idea is, well, I need less. You know?
Big mistake. Big mistake.
Yeah.
You want more press, and what you need to do is take any advice, even if it's negative, and then grow from it. You change it, and it's never too late to change your videos. Never too late to change your Kickstarter story page and all that. Because I don't know how many times I changed, adapted mine over the course of the 37 days that it was live. A lot. I changed the video in the last week. Less than 9 days to go, and I did. Yeah. And it paid off. I got an extra $1,000 for doing that. I don't know that the video was the sole reason why, but
I did hear you got a wonderful voice actor.
I got a great voice actor to take care of that for me. Someone that could be serious. I just can't seem to do it.
Hold on, we might be getting Brian. I think Brian commented. I'm looking for him. All right. So I'm trying to get a few other people in here. And one of the things I want to talk about is the idea of the art. Because look, and this all matters to the video, guys, believe it or not. So Luke did this amazing art for me today. Look how beautiful that is. I want to get this to be a cover, or I'm going to give him the option to do a different cover if he feels like it at 1,000. Because I really want to celebrate it, and he'll be able to sell my books at his table. That's a great way to network, and I get him to be part of it. So now he wants to be excited about getting to the 1,000 goal if I'm lucky. He tells some of his friends because he wants to be able to sell a different book at your table, right? To diversify.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So now I'm involving. This is how we do things. It's no different with a Kickstarter video. I want to be able to talk about great stuff, but if I'm not doing a good job at a comic book level and he makes this beautiful art, guess what? He shares this art. This art gets him a job. Someone else wants to hire him now because he did a beautiful job bringing Cat Dad to life. So there's a guy with a vigilante tail. He goes on to get a beautiful career in Marvel and DC. I don't go anywhere because I was the writer who did a shitty job at making a great story. I don't know what else to tell you guys. I really don't. The story is more important than the art.
It always is.
That's what the art goes off of. Now,
as an artist, I'll tell you the story is more important than the art. You asked me earlier when I was doing we did that piece there on a live draw on my channel, on my Facebook page and my YouTube channel. And you asked me what artist I follow. And I told you a couple of indie guys, nobody really in kind of the major 2 or 3. When I buy a book, it's always about the story. I don't care about the art because art is so subjective. As long as I can tell what the story is that the artist has portrayed the story, I'm okay with whatever art it is. I don't care. I only care about the story.
And now I'm actually going to ask Luke, because again, we're talking only about my project. And I want to keep it to me so no one feels offended. Those who subject themselves to Kickstarter applause, that's one thing, but no one has subjected themselves to this. So this will just be about my campaign today. And I know Luke will be honest. Let me ask you an honest question.
Sure.
You've read the book.
I have.
You have said, and stop me if I'm wrong, that you enjoyed the book.
I did enjoy the book, yeah.
Did that help inspire you to create this kind of caliber of art?
That's why I did it, because I liked the book. I wanted to do it. You didn't pay me for that. You actually didn't really even ask me to do that. You said, hey, I wouldn't be opposed. And I was like, I think it would be a lot of fun to draw it and to put kind of, what would it look like if Cat Dad and Supermom lived in the hybrids world, and kind of the Luke art realm. And so I wanted to do it. I thought it would be fun. And you know what? It was a lot of fun to draw. And
I'm already thinking like Cat Dad After Dark right now.
I think it'd be great.
We'll let the kid take off a little bit and then we'll come in. Because, they do it with the older stuff, right? They make the Justice League kids. I've never seen anyone turn the kids into adults successfully.
Yeah.
It does happen occasionally. But the point we're trying to make is notice about the story. Story is so important. So when it comes to videos, why are you guys not worried about your story? How are you not telling a story? And that's one of the things that I remember Luke got. It was Madeline who had told you a few good pointers, and you were like, "Wow, I never looked at it that way." And I'll tell you the truth, I like Luke's video. Yeah. I actually, being honest with you, actually enjoyed watching it, and I didn't see the things Madeline saw because he did tell a compelling story. And he, to me, it didn't sound like he was joking. He sounded very happy. And I like that enthusiasm. And I told him that too. I was like, honestly, you sound happy, but I can see what Madeline says. Because we talked about it after, and I said, well, what do you feel? And he's like, I'd rather someone else do it. I was like, dude, I'll do it. I was like, right away, just send me a script. And I spent that night while Jax was trying to go to sleep, reading the script. And you could, by the time he showed up the next day, I was like, I can do it like this. I can do it like this. And we took a couple different things because I really liked his story too. And I've had the opportunity to read his story. And I've gotten to see his journey because I've known Luke a while. And that's what's great about us comic book creators is that we know each other for a good time and we follow each other and we really become cheerleaders for each other. I don't actually hope anyone ill fate, Jax, anyone bad times except if they treat others poorly. And that's really always been, there are people I don't like that you'd never know. I've been on programs with people and I've been smiling and talking to them. And when the cameras went off, I would tell them something else about what I thought about them. And that's just the reality of life. We have to do this. And this is a video. This is presentation. You know what I mean? You have to be honest. And if you're talking about your own product and you can't, what are you doing? And that's really, I mean, we haven't even talked technical stuff. This has all been about the story, guys. That's how important it is.
Yeah. I don't think you can shortchange that enough. And I hear creators say this all the time, and it's something I've kind of been advocating for lately. Yeah, I hear people say that, oh, well, my work speaks for itself. Well, that's a fine sentiment, but it's not a realistic one. I speak for my work, because I want people right now. There's just so much out there. There's so much for people to choose from. There's so much art out there. There's so many people drawing comic book stuff. I'm going to speak up for my stuff because I believe in what I do. I have a passion for what I do. And I want my work to be in more people's hands. And so I'm going to speak up for my work. Many times the Kickstarter video is your opportunity to speak for your work because people aren't necessarily going to dive down in there. I like what you're doing with Cat Dad and Supermom, where it's all multimedia. It's all videos, not a lot of text and things like that. People want to see pictures. They want to see the art. Am I going to enjoy the art? And I know not everyone's going to enjoy my art, and that's fine. But if they enjoy it enough to look at the story, but if I can really push that story, like what my book was about. And I got this advice from everybody. I was not building my campaigns. My last campaign, I had 24 backers, made $800. No, wait, not even 800. I made like $340 some dollars. It was measly. It was nothing. And people were like, well, you're not introducing your stuff to new readers. Everything looks like you're just dealing with your current readers. And so those will drop off over time. And so I went in and completely, after launch, I mean, it had already launched. It had already been up for a few days, and completely rebuilt my Kickstarter campaign to really lean in on new readers and focus in on the story. Then when people finally, and so I had some help to try to figure out how can I articulate, because I have a pretty complex story idea that is not real easy to say in a couple of sentences. It's not, in full to really get that out there. And so I got some help on how can I convey the idea of the story behind, what's going on here in a few sentences and a few quips that will really get people interested. Got help doing that, put them in there, and it made the world of difference. I had a $200 goal and wound up hitting a pretty good number by the time it was all said and done. And it was because I listened to people and I focused on the story of what was happening and not so much all the frills.
And do you think that's really important getting to the, and we say it a lot on the Kickstarter pause, less sizzle, more show. Do you think that is an accurate description of what needs to happen with a lot of the creators?
Yeah, I really do. I think, as you watch some of these, I have ADHD and sometimes it's really bad. Like it's been really bad being in kind of this quarantine life that we're living in. And I'm not going to be able to focus on something that I find even the slightest bit boring. And so I don't know however many other people are out there in the world like me, but obviously there's a probably more than what we realize, because there's a whole lot of people that aren't backing these projects. Or I noticed on my watches, I had like 99 watches, but only 63% of them finished it, or they only watched up to 63% of the video. So that was on average. And so that means some people didn't watch at all. Some people might have watched the whole thing. But pay attention to that statistic. I wanted anything over 50%. And
well, 60 is actually rather high, to be honest with you. And it's funny because creators won't tell you that number, because we're taught to try to hide our failures. And I can always tell when something's not good, because when you ask to see something, suddenly, oh, no, I don't share that. If it's good news, people will share the hell out of it. It's when it's bad news, people are like, ew, no, we're not going to talk about this. Keep going, move on. Yeah. I do want to play a video. We're going to play my video. I know you've watched it. Hopefully there are a couple people I'm trying to get on. Meredith, I sent you a link if you want to join the conversation. I'm going to play this video, and I want you to honestly tell me what's wrong with it, and we'll go over it. We'll play it for everyone. It's going to be my video again. And not only is this shameless promotion, which I'm very happy about, but again, I'm the only person who can get offended when we talk about this. And I'll even rip into things that I'll tell you that I didn't like. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to write down the things that I find as mistakes as I watch it. And I'm going to be critical like I'd be critical of anyone else. Trust me, if there's anyone who's critical about my work, it's me first versus any other human being. So I'll tell you right away. All right, so here goes the video, and then I'll tell you. We'll let Luke go. I'll go first. I'll rip it up to start the tone, and then we'll go from there. Hopefully some other people will join us. An all-ages tale that teaches morals with farts and shows the power of imagination that will entertain everyone in your family, including the parents reading the book. Thank you for hitting play and allowing us to introduce you to Cat Dad and Supermom, the award-winning Farts with Morals storytelling awesome adventure that people seem to love. And we could keep going that way. We could use words that could try to get you to be excited and convinced to buy it, but I'd rather just be honest with you. I'd rather be humble with you and tell you why I created the story. You see that little boy over my shoulder, right over there, and the other side, the Supermom, and the big elephant that farts? All of that is based on my boy. He's a special needs 5-year-old who I love with all my heart. And he has made me a better man and has taught me what unconditional love is. So if this story is about him, the standard had to be higher. That's why I got one of the best artists in the world in Raheel Mohsin. I got Chuck Pinault, who has done such great work as an editor and as a writer himself, to be part of this. Both of them became co-creators because of how much passion went into this. It was about passion for creating a top-notch story that was meant to entertain your entire family, and I think we did that. The rest, they're all keywords. They're all ways to convince you to do it. Truthfully, this is a story that matters to me, and it had to be one of the best stories that I wanted to share with you. It advocates for people who get bullied, and it advocates for the right things to do when you see someone get bullied. It advocates for being a better human being, but it also represents my son. And because of that standard, because of the fact that my son is in this book, it had to be one of the best things I could create, probably in my entire career. Anytime my son is attached to something, it is that high of a standard for me. So if you're looking for a reason to back this Kickstarter, it's because, well, because I love my son, and I wouldn't put anything out with his name on it that wasn't amazing. Thank you for watching, sharing, and backing Cat Dad and Supermom, and Ella Fart never forgets. I was so ashamed I ran away. I couldn't watch anymore. All right, Luke, you get to start.
I would love a little backing track music to that thing. And maybe even change up the music a little bit. I'm one of those that I like the kind of the whole package there, and so I would do that. I like the images. I would have liked to see more of the interior pages, because I feel like you do have one of the best artists out there, especially in that style. That could have been spotlighted even just a little bit more, if I'm going to be critical of it. I like the softer side of Rob. Most people don't get to see that. You only when you kind of get a chance to get to know. Most people know the Spanks and Hugs guy, and they know the indie devil guy or the creative devil guy now or whatever. But yeah, I think people get a chance to see Rob as the dad. They get to see the sweet nature. Unfortunately, now everyone that sees this will know. But I think it's a good thing. I think this is a side of Rob that people want to see, and it was nice to see that honesty. That look, I'm not trying to sell something. That kind of the cutting the baloney stuff. I like that. And but yeah, I would just add some. There's a couple resources where you can download free backing music. It's completely royalty free. You can use it for your Kickstarters and stuff like that. And I use it all the time.
Ben Sound is a good place for that.
What's that?
Ben Sound.
Yes, that's exactly the place that I was talking about. So I would go and find some stuff there and do a little background music.
And Brian, how do you say your last name? I always think I say it wrong when I read your comments.
It's Jermaine. I don't know. Can you hear me okay?
You're fine. Jermaine, so I'm getting
okay.
it right.
Okay.
I got a name right.
I was trying to do my microphone check earlier, and it wasn't working at all.
Brian, do you know Luke? And Luke, do you know Brian?
Don't believe I have the pleasure.
Well, Brian,
No, I don't believe so.
Tell us who you are, Brian.
I run a small publishing company called Dark Elf Designs. We publish it's basically all independent creators, smaller creators. But we do have some fairly well-known names that are doing their own type of stuff that have worked with us in the past, but they haven't really produced anything with us per se. That's kind of not true, but they haven't produced anything full on that's all their own yet. So I'm hoping to do that too in the future. So, but yeah, we got about 30 titles out there, but it's been over about 20 years, so it's not that many really.
Okay. Have you happened to see my video for Cat Dad and Supermom?
Me? No.
Okay. I'm not going to replay it because I think that'd just be rude. We're just talking about that, but we're about to switch gears. So let me just give my comments on the video, and Luke had seen it, so he can tell me, and then we're going to move on to talking about more videos. And because you had wanted to be on Kickstarter pause, but I don't think we'd lined up, so I wanted you on one of these programs because I know you haven't been able to be on this the whole time we've been doing this, and I wanted you to be able.
Yeah, my time is all quirky.
Yeah, so whenever I sent an invite, and you seemed interested in Kickstarter today, so I was like, hey, let me see if you can be here. So here are my comments, Luke, about my video. Like I said, I'm the worst critic of myself than anyone else can be. First off, I don't like the fact that I'm in the video. I think that I come off looking old and tired. I don't like the image of myself. There's an old, tired, beat up, worn by life person talking. And there is this lack of youth in the video. I feel like I'm the president. When I was younger, I knew that there was these things called cars. I felt like I came off so old. I absolutely hated the fact that I stuttered on my word, and instead of saying to entice you, I said to do it like an idiot. This is what we're doing to get you to do it. What am I talking about? I just cringe every time I hear it. And it's hard to film these videos, especially when I wasn't reading a script. There was no script. That was off the top of my head. 25 takes, and that was the best one there was. But it became one of those things where if you kept going, you were only going to get worse, because now I was starting to overthink everything. I hated the fact that Jax's pants are balled up. I could have probably tried to Photoshop it. It's an adorable picture of him. We use a younger picture of him for the record because his mom and my family do not want active pictures of him used for promotional material because they're afraid of abductions. And if you notice, he's actually blonde in the comic books and he's not really blonde in real life, and that's on purpose. There are people who, aren't really meant to be around the rest of us. And that's fear.
Yeah, there's creeps out there. You got to protect your kids from it.
Yeah, so a younger picture was important. It wore the original Written Sins thing. When we were on that was actually a picture, and I'm going to give you something that a lot of people don't know. That's a picture from us being on tour when he was on Kickstarter with that book. And we were trying to raise funds. That was the first year me and Jax were on the road together. And he was actually going around. He was wearing the shirts. It was amazing. So it was the picture matters to me. That was the perfect picture for it. Again, I looked tired and like an old man. I wrote that twice. Every time I saw myself, I saw someone who looked tired. And I think that hurts the brand, believe it or not. Again, I screwed up another line. I stuttered over Rahil's name. What's wrong with me? I know his name. Why would I stutter on his name? And these are all critical things I see when I see my video. And I did not like. But in all honesty, I liked how genuine I came across. It was a time, and I can tell just by when you do something, you can know it, you can feel it. And I can actually feel, I don't know if you guys, well, I know Brian didn't see it, but I don't know if you feel it. There's an insecurity in the way I'm talking because I'm being so genuine. It's uncomfortable. You know?
Yeah, you could tell it's not what you're used to doing. Yeah. Most people would get to, I mean, you're used to the indie devil. That's the guy that I think most people see, and that's the persona most people get. And that's why I said I kind of like the softer side. People get to see that more the vulnerability of that, and I think that was a smart move, I think.
Well, I talked to Chuck, and this is I'm sure you both know I've tried this Kickstarter twice before and failed, and I couldn't get it. And I had people telling me advice, and I listened to their advice. I did it everyone else's way. And when this came up, and I heard my printer, Comic Impressions, was losing money during this, and I was like, I can't afford to print right now. I still haven't gotten a stimulus check. I'm not doing great. There are no cons. There's no money coming in. I was like, if I can kickstart this book, finally get it to run, we can do something. We have an award. Why don't we do an award cover? Like back in January, they did the 100s. So I was like, why don't I do something similar to that? And why don't I just give it my all? And I talked to Chuck, and I said, I want to do something different with the video. And he's like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to be honest. I was like, I don't see anyone being honest on their videos. And he's like, how's that going to look? And I was like, I'll show you when I'm done. And Luke was one of the first people to actually see the rough cut of it when the very original one where we didn't have any of that stuff. And I went to Kickstarter within 4 days. I decided I was going to kickstart something. I think it was 6 days. 6 days later, I had a Kickstarter. I built all of that in 6 days, filmed all of that in 6 days. It took 3 days to get the project approved, and we were on Kickstarter on Wednesday, and Camilla saw it and ripped it apart. But she said, like you said, there was an honesty about it. She did like that. But the beginning of the video, it didn't have my pitch. The entire time I was there, I never pitched the book. That very beginning that I added, it just blows people. They're like, okay, I know what I'm getting into. And you have a 65% rate. I have a 67% rate. And that tells me that both of us are making videos people are watching.
Yeah.
And that's important. And I do want to ask Brian this. Brian, do you think Kickstarter videos matter in this day and age?
Well, I kind of think they matter now more than ever, just because like everybody's got a phone or everybody's got a computer or everybody's got some kind of thing where they can watch a fast streaming video. We're not bogged down by, oh, now we got to wait 10 minutes for this video to load. We can just watch it on the fly. And, the thing is, I think that the Kickstarter pause game that we've been playing, or you've had running, is a neat thing because a lot of those videos can either hurt or help the project, the property.
And until that program, stop me if I'm wrong, but no one's ever stopped to actually give feedback to anyone about videos. No one across any stream or anything like that has done that. And now, of course, I'm starting to see, you do something, other people start trying to do it. They try to rename it and try to act like they're I had someone
repackage it.
Yeah, I had someone on a live stream yesterday go, I don't know why anyone hasn't created an online con before. I don't know why anyone hasn't gone online with their books before. And I was like, just because you just showed up doesn't mean the world.
You're a little late to the game, man. It's like OnCon, you've been doing the whole Indie Advocator thing, the Indie Advocate website. It's just been like, it's like an online, this whole thing that we've been doing. You've been doing this for 5 years. Yeah, you started it about the same time I got into doing publishing my own indie comics seriously, and so yeah, it's like we've been doing this. The whole Kickstarter. I remember when it was like the Kickstarter gong, and you're like, I got this idea for a show. You're trying to fill space, but it turned out to be something really cool. And it was very interesting. And I was like, this is fun. I like this. And then I remember when my Kickstarter video was on there, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to watch this and see. And some really fun and interesting things have come out of that show for me.
I think for a lot of
But if you don't mind me interjecting, one of the things that I like about the Indie Advocate is that I do like learning about Marvel and DC stuff. Don't get me wrong, I do like learning about some of the bigger indie companies out there. But so many other sites are doing that. It's like, why do I care? Really? I mean, I want to know what's going on with guys like me. I want to go know what's going on with guys like Rob and I'm guessing you, Luke. That I want to know what's going on in the indie market, not Marvel and DC. I can see that on the mainstream news if I want to. I don't have to. Bleeding Cool covers that. Every major place covers that. I don't have to go to some guy I barely have ever heard of or barely ever know to find out what's going on with Marvel or DC. So why do that?
Sure, you make a great point. I think that's the other really cool thing about kind of these platforms, and even with Kickstarter, it gives everybody a kind of an even playing field, and if you get the algorithms will move you to the top, and with the exception of Todd McFarlane, none of these other guys are running Kickstarters for their stuff, or there's a couple that have moved over, like Ethan Van Sciver to the Indiegogo, and he's been very successful over there. Your boy Zach has ran a few things there, and he's been very successful. But most of us, without having previously worked in one of the big companies and having any kind of knowledge, I'm growing like this whole process. I've been progressing in my abilities from 5 years ago till today, and it's a growth process. But there's no way to follow those artists and stuff out there unless they're in these little pockets. And I see other people that try to do indie stuff and advocate for some things, but it's very much this is my group. We promote our company. Like, I see Varian's in, so like Varian's really good about cross promoting a lot of people, but for the most part, it's like, oh, it's Dark Elf Design, or it's Starcross Comics, or it's, Cosmic Times, or it's this. And we kind of promote our groups and the people that we're really closely connected with and knit with. But when you really start to look, something like the Indie Advocator and Kickstarter Pause, it kind of breaks down some of those barriers, and it says, look, this is all about your story, your project, and let's focus on that for a moment. Doesn't matter who you're associated with, you're making something new. And it's nice to have that. It really is. And it's nice to have the feedback from people in real time watching your videos and saying, hey, this could be better, or that cannot be better. I'm telling you, if you're not taking that advice, you're really losing out. I really think you're losing out, because it really helped me in the long run. But I mean, even beyond that, the Kickstarter thing, there was a question about, art. And so it made me be able to bring up and talk more about my process and my style, which has also kind of encouraged me to do a weekly live draw. So I'll just draw something in front of people, and we'll just talk and, share comments and stuff. But yeah, so like all of that stuff, it can inspire. And I'm not upset if people are stealing Rob's ideas, because if they can go and do it, but the problem is when they all just try to, when you just try to make it your thing and people try to monetize off of it, when it really should be this community thing. How can we build the community more? Because a rising tide lifts all ships.
And look, I don't care that they take it. I just care that they do it as good, if not better than me. That's all I ever ask. Don't take my idea and make it all about you and two of your friends, or try to rip down videos. I did see someone who decided to try to make it a drinking game, and they started saying rude things about other people's videos, and I'm not going to share who did it because I don't encourage it, but that person clearly is never going to do that again. No, Varian was drunk on the show one time. He was awesome. And I got Varian. Varian is the opposite of a gatekeeper. He's actually that guy who's trying to open the gates for everyone just to see what happens.
I love that about him.
Yeah, I like that.
That's a very good and very accurate description of Varian, I think. So
he picks open the door and goes, "Hurry, get in! They're not looking."
Yeah. Then when everything backfires, I'm like, "Ooh, who let that guy in?"
It wasn't me.
Yeah.
I think Luke let him in. Yeah. I don't think. Here's the thing. I think that mean-spiritedness. I think that negativity. That is what gets people people want this drama. You start looking in some aspects. You look in mainstream comics. You look in some of the more fringes of some comics communities, and they thrive on drama. And I think that maybe people will want to take something that's positive and spin it and use it as a way to like, hey, let's tear some people down because they might think they'll get more views or something out of that. But at the end of the day, it's not about tearing each other down; it's about lifting each other up. And anybody can dog on somebody else. I mean, it's really easy to find something about someone to make fun of or to blast. But at the end of the day, these people are putting their heart out there in a crowdfunding campaign. They're making comics. They're doing something with their dreams. They're not just sitting around pointing fingers at somebody else. I've gotten a few bad reviews over the years for my comics. Imagine that. And I can always tell the people, I don't read most of the reviews on my comics because only if I care about the opinion of the person that's given the review. Because some people that all they want to do is just tear things down. Like there's one guy, every review he does is negative. If it's an indie book, it's negative. If it's Marvel, he is kissing the Marvel ring. I mean, there's
no reason to do that even.
Yeah. They don't
You'd be
care
better off to
about
kiss the indie ring than the Marvel ring, because the indie ring is going to take notice way before Marvel's ever going to take notice.
We certainly are, and we're going to send all of our fans to go look at it, and we're going to send everybody else to go look at that review where someone actually said something good about our book, But yeah, this guy was just, and all he was trying to do is get views and stuff. I don't even know if he's still reviewing books or not, and who cares? Because I don't have time for that.
Some amount of controversy can be used for getting views and stuff like that. It's kind of like a Howard Stern type of thing, But at the end of the day, that's not why people tune in per se, and not everybody's Howard Stern, not everybody's a shock jock, and not everybody needs to be, not everybody should be.
Howard Stern was still nice about it.
I think that the best of us, or the better, I don't want to say the best of us, or the better, but there are those of us who are a little more professional who will push that content and say, hey, look, I got reviewed here. Go check this review out. I got an interview here. I've done interviews over on Indie Vote with people. One person in particular, and they never repost the interviews. And I actually told my staff, stop, no more coverage. I mean, I hate to be that guy, but it's like, if you can't, the first one, okay, maybe we got caught in the, you got a lot going on, whatever. The second time, you didn't post the interview. It's like, okay, you don't care. Now I believe that if that person would have got an interview over at Bleeding Cool or something, it definitely would have posted it. Oh, look, I got interviewed by this person, and it's really weird.
Yeah, share interviews. I just, my thing is, I don't care about like the anonymous reviews that people give out. I'm like, I don't, have me on. Let's talk about the project. Tell me that you don't like it to my face, and I'll be like, I understand. Totally get it.
Luke, you don't read reviews.
Better yet, tell us why. Tell us the in-depth reasons.
Yeah, tell me why you don't like it.
So sorry, Rob.
No, it's okay. So Luke, you get reviews. You don't read your reviews. It's funny because the people who review my books never read my books. So it's a completely different stance. I hear all the time what my books are from complete strangers who never bought my book. Kevin, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Kevin's joining us. We're talking about videos. Kevin, how important is a Kickstarter video in this day and age?
Yo, everyone. Here I am. A bit late, but here I am. For a Kickstarter video, I think it's really important, actually. It's the only and best way to actually really connect with the potential backer you have in front of you. Because if you are unknown, like most of the person that are going to kickstart your book, or if you want to reach someone that you don't know you and is just looking around Kickstarter for a project that you might like, you need to connect with a creator. You need to connect with a person behind, and there is no better way than being on video and say, "Hey, hi, I'm the guy making this book that you're gonna back," and just create a confidence in with the person that you're not just someone who's gonna rob his money or disappear with it, and just build a relationship through the video. And I think that this is like a video on a Kickstarter is like it's the cocaine of funding.
You get them hooked and then they keep coming back. Is that
There you go.
Now, let me ask
I think there's a few videos. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No,
I was just going to say something about the videos out there that there's a few of them that, you know, it's not bad to see the actual person doing the book, but at the same time, there's some people out there that probably are less confident on video and less confident doing the videos. So maybe they should have somebody else work on them for them or help them with them, you know, somewhat.
Sure, and if you're not someone is comfortable in front of camera, you know, you can just say, "Hi, I'm here's my name. I'm the creator of that book, and here's some previous pages of it." And you make a cool montage of 30 seconds of art from the book, and at the end, you just pop up again and you say, "Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy the project," or something like that. And you've been like 10 seconds in the video, but you create a connection with you physically being in the shot.
All right, so let me ask you guys a question, and we'll go around the room. Go Luke, Brian, Varian, and then Kevin, and I'll answer at the very end. Luke, we'll start. Since you're the first one, I'll pass it to you first. How long should a Kickstarter video for the very top, the preview video? How long should that go, and why?
60 seconds. If you can make it shorter, do it. Because you're just trying to invite them to go down into the rest of the project and read more or watch more videos that you have down there. It's just a taste to get them hooked a little bit more. A long video, nah.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there, and I would actually say think of it in terms of a commercial, and go either 15 seconds to 60 seconds, like, because most commercials aren't more than, you know, just a couple minutes long, and you're not even doing that. You're basically doing a blurb for yourself.
Yeah, I would say it's a lot like that. It's like a comic book. You have that page turner. That's what that first video should be, a page turner. You got the person in, you introduced your story, who you are, you want them to turn the page, you want them to scroll down the page and find out more about the project. 30 seconds seems too short, but I think 50 to 60 seconds, that's about right. I think anybody's willing to give you 60 seconds of their time to hook them. If then later on you can get them down into the project where you can put the longer video there.
Yep, I agree. And but the most important, I think, is don't go for a trailer of your book. I mean, there is way more impact if we see you and you just show the book. Even if you can fake it, if your book is not ready, you can have like something printed on a book and just go, here's my project, check this out, and after go just show that you got something, prove that you have something in work, like you're doing with an artwork. It's like, hey, this is happening. And this is super important, actually, in the process of bringing someone interest. And I think that if you have someone to study right now with Kickstarter, is definitely Brian Pulido. That is terrific in video. I can watch Brian Pulido for hours just showing books like that. And, this is a foreign cover that I'm going to sell $300 to you. It's really cheap, huh? And he sell it in 1 minute. It's just crazy. And why? Just because he got physical proof. And physical proof is the way you're going to sell something, because you're not selling dreams. And I think people are way more vigilant now on crowdfunding with not receiving books and stuff like that, because it's happening more than one time now.
And I'll answer, 45 seconds to 2 minutes is generally your sweet spot. After 2 minutes, most people just can no longer contain themselves unless you hook them. And so understanding that is also understanding where your hooks go. The very beginning of your video should not be a screen that says preview. This is a preview of a blah. There's been this great group of people who have gone out and convinced creators that they have to spend money on actually getting a professionally made video. Good for them. That's great marketing for them. They have succeeded in selling you something, but that video will not sell people. I've never heard anyone, and I've been doing this show now since January. We started doing the Gong version. So we're going to be in May. So that's just about 5 months. No one has liked the polished videos for Kickstarter. Everyone has found them more annoying than actually helpful. And very often people are left going, what just happened? So let me ask you a question. Why don't more Kickstarter videos start with the elevator pitch? Why do you think that is? We'll start with Luke.
I think because they think I think it's monkey see, monkey do. Someone paid to have a really nice trailer made, and they thought that might work, and then everyone else wants to be that or mimic that. I'll be honest with you. The last Kickstarter, I paid to have a really nice video made, and it wound up down in the bottom in the story, and no one really ever watched it because it wasn't as good as what I had just done on my own. I mean, it was good, but I mean, it didn't really hit the points that it needed to hit because it was done by a trailer company, basically. And I think people just kind of follow that lead because they're trying, I guess in some sick way, they're trying to compete with Marvel or DC and the cinematic universe or those kind of things. And that's not what people are doing when they're supporting a Kickstarter. They want your book. They want to know about your story. They want to know about you. Heck, people support and have bought my books as much about me as they have about the story. They've gotten to know me and they want to support the work that I do. And so that's my thoughts. Brian, take it away.
Rob muted everybody.
Let's see. Well, I think that the polished videos, if you want something like that, you can even like invest on like something like Fiverr, and you can get somebody to do some like cheap little polished video. But I think you should still always have like Luke said, and like was it Kevin? Yeah, Kevin said, where you have a presence of yourself. A lot of people aren't confident enough to be on camera, though. So if you're not confident enough to be on camera, at least have a voiceover or something that's you, so that you interact in some way that's meaningful, that's showing you, rather than, so I'm not 100% sure why they don't like the polished videos so much, but I definitely am on board with the whole, like, I like to know who I'm investing in as well as what I'm investing in.
Varian?
I think the polished videos, I think you guys mentioned it right when I came in. They come across as a little, well, what do you need my money for? What do you need me for if you've got, huge production values? Some people are looking to help that grassroots guy. And so if you come in there with a video that's super polished, I think that might turns people off. And that's not to say your video shouldn't be as professional as possible and shouldn't be done as professionally as you can. But I mean, there are Kickstarters out there right now, a couple $100,000, where the person just talks over a couple pictures and they're like, hey, here's my book, here's what it's about. Will you back it? Help me out. And then at the bottom, like again, you got a nice fleshed out trailer, that movie trailer they want to show you that's still there. Because everybody wants that. Let's be honest, guys. Everybody wants that cinematic trailer. We all do.
And I would like to thank Varian for showing us how to get a sponsor, because Roku Television is clearly Varian's sponsor, as it's subtly hidden in the background. Kevin, what do you think? What's your take on it?
You've muted.
He's muted.
Okay, cool. There is another person that got an answer for me. Just wait a second. People support a creator, so you can do whatever you want, even if you're professional as fuck in your video. They want something raw, and you know why? Because rawness mean that you are directly in connection with the audience. And for that, someone like Todd McFarlane just grab his phone, go like that, and say, "Hey, I need $2 million. Just give me $2 million. You're gonna get $2 million." Because having the hand on your phone, you got a direct connection with your audience. Having your phone on a tripod, you just lost your connection with the audience, because the connection is with the tripod. So it's really, really important to be the rawest as possible with your content, just for the reason that, first, you are the closest as possible to your audience, because your phone is probably all by your hand or something really close to you. And the cheapest is look, the poorest you look, and that's something important when you're raising fun, when you try to raise money. Like if you come with a big trailer, I'm like, dude, you probably just put $2,000 in your trailer, and you're gonna ask me for $2,000, and just go fuck yourself.
I like the way Kevin said that. It doesn't seem like Go F Yourself doesn't seem that bad with the accent.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that bad. Yeah, like,
Yeah, it's better if I say French. Could be pretty cool as well.
yeah, it's kind of sing-songy. It's it's like it ends on a high note. It's almost like a. It's almost like it's a
Have
good
a good
thing.
day.
Yeah, have a good day.
Allez vous faire foutre.
Yeah, there we go.
That's go fuck yourself in French. It just sounds like a poetry,
Rob, there's nothing wrong with trying to actually see if you can get Sarah McLachlan to help you with your Kickstarter video. Play Eyes of an Angel, look into the camera, maybe get some flies to crawl around your face while you ask for money. Like, please buy my comic.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, for example, you got a oboe on the street that's gonna ask you for money in Gucci clothes.
Yeah.
And the other one gonna look really broke for real. Which one instantly you're gonna support first? I
will pull up my shirt. Everyone think my pot belly is being bloated for malnourishment, and it'll be awesome. I can't eat.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back from fantasy and go back to reality here, Varian.
No.
Let's talk about that. Great point, though. I love this Sarah McLachlan thing. So we were live on Kickstarter. Pause today. Went to play a video, and I have a pretty good ear, as you can tell by the fact that I've listened to all this with the gremlin behind me. And I love the little gremlin. But we start playing this video, and all of a sudden I hear it, and it's a song I know. It's Sweet Dreams Are Made of These. And it's not the regular one, it's a cover. And I actually do know the cover that it is, and I have to stop the video. And that's 2 seconds in. If we keep playing it, we get a copyright strike. Yeah. And I know that you have to worry about that with your show, Varian.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think? I personally think the minute someone uses music that they don't own and they don't think it's a big deal, I am 95% less likely to back your campaign. Because you don't care about creators, because you took from someone else without permission, and you were just like, well, this is mine now because they made enough money. So now Disney makes enough money, so I'm going to draw Spider-Man because F Disney. I don't respect that. Now, I respect the guy who's like, look, I'm going to draw Spider-Man because I got to eat, man. That pays bills. I can respect that answer more than I can Disney's making a lot of money. I respect people who make original art more, though, and that's, it's me. I know we're on a truce. Fan art people, we're on a truce. I know we are. We're on a truce. I get it. We're on a truce. But end of the day, don't use someone else's stuff, especially their music. And I know, Luke, you are an actual band at one point. How much does that piss you off versus covering a song? So I know there's a difference. And can you go over covering in a band setting?
Yeah. If you do a cover for, I don't know, like at a bar or something like that, it's one thing. But if you record that cover and share it at all, those bands have to pay a mechanical license. So like I've covered songs and released them on CD and released them through digital formats. I have to pay. I have to go to the Harry Fox agency, and I have to pay for that license to do that. And so it costs me money. And so if someone just grabs a song that they don't have the rights to, and they just stick it on their video, it's very frustrating because, I want paid for my work. It's like someone taking your artwork or your words and taking them and using them for their purposes and not giving you credit or even asking you permission or paying you for it. It's offensive. It's illegal, and it shouldn't be done. I am in a band. We've got an album hopefully coming out soon. And, I want people to use that music and that material if they want to, but they need to talk to us about it. They need to get permission to do it and stuff like that. I have no problem if you can contact the members of Queen and say, hey, or go to their agency and say, hey, can I use We Will Rock You in my Kickstarter video? And you get permission to do that. And you post it at the beginning. I'm perfectly cool with that. In fact, I'm going to be like, wow, they got Queen to agree to use that for this must be a project I want to back. Otherwise, it just either do your own, or there's so many free options out there that you don't have to rip off somebody to do it. Just don't.
You mentioned asking the band, and I did that. I liked for the Indie Volt intro. There's another intro to Indie Volt that I never use, and we got. Again, if you're a wrestling fan, Seven Lions used to do a song for SmackDown, and I followed the band ever since. And I reached out to them on YouTube. Didn't think I'd hear anything back. 2 days later, the lead emails me, says, "Hey, I'll talk to the guys about you using the song." I'm like, "Oh, okay, great." A week and a half later, he messages back, "Yeah, you can use it, dude. It's cool." And I'm like, "Oh." So I got that email saved, and I'm waiting for when I start using it for YouTube to flag me and say, "Hey, you can't use this," and I can send them down and say, "Yeah, eat it."
I got permission.
Yeah, I got permission.
He just wants to be like, "Yeah, I can do it."
Yeah, that's all I want.
No, but seriously, if you hear a music and you know they don't have the rights for it, does your mind go, "All right, this is a shitty move," or you like, "I don't care, whatever"?
I instantly think, "Oh man." Well, if it's live, especially for live, I gotta pull it. And some people don't understand that. And Rob, you'll be surprised. Well, you're not surprised, but there are some people who are surprised that they do not understand copyright law and what's fair use and what's not. Well, this is an old song. This is from the 30s. There's no way this is still in the copyright. And then they find out that Viacom and CBS and NBC has copyright, and they're quick.
Oh, really? Because they have Shazam now attached to. And for those who don't know, the same unit that Shazam uses to do what it does was sold when Amazon bought it and sold it to companies like YouTube to integrate it. So now they can put out these things. Same kind of software. It's not totally Shazam, but the same thing that the people who created Shazam, they sold that proprietary stuff to other companies so they can now cycle through their stuff to make sure they're in compliance because of new copyright laws. Because guess what? They're now enforcing copyright on top of YouTube. It's not YouTube's no longer considered a victim of what Varian does when he puts on his channel. And you've seen this. Is this content made for kids? There are laws that are pushing back now heavy because you do have people who are abusing copyright laws. What do you think, Kevin? Does that affect you and your ability to back a project when you see someone blatantly ripping off someone else's music?
I think there is a lot of new creators on Kickstarter that doesn't have experience, so did not think about it because we all do mistake, and it's the kind of thing I will forgive, honestly. If it's not used in a commercial way, I mean, for example, you say, "Oh, this is the official song of the graphic novel. You need to listen to this song," or you sell the MP3 with the book. I will be like, "What the fuck, dude?" But if it's just used in the video, and I just feel that it probably just some knowledge that person doesn't have at that moment, I will not be affected. I will actually go reach to him and just tell him what's copyright.
Now, I can tell you from experience, when you tell someone it's copyrighted, like Varian said, they're going to be like, so, like what? You work for 9 Inch Nails now? I can't use that. Who are you? Who are you to tell me what I can use? And I've had creators do that, and I've just simply been like, okay. And that was the last time I helped that creator, to be honest with you. Or they had to come back and apologize to me later when they figured it out, when they got strikes, because now Kickstarter, by the way, is starting to cycle through those. They don't use the same program, but trust me, they're paying attention. And I know that they've ripped down Kickstarters at this point for violating that. Brian, have you been keeping up in the background? Okay, so what do you think? Does a copyrighted song on a video make you go, "Nope, I'm not backing this now"?
It kind of can. I guess it depends on if I actually think they got the rights to that song, which is, usually going to be the answer is no. It doesn't always do that, but I kind of would rather just hear something. There's so much free content and stock content and stuff that you can get really limited license or low priced if you want something like that,
Can I interject real quick, Brian, on something? You're making an indie comic and you want you need music. Why not reach out across the aisle to your indie brothers in music and ask them for one of their songs? Maybe
Yeah, that's a
you
good
can.
idea.
Maybe you guys can trade off somewhere, and you can use their music. You can help promote them. They can promote your comic. I got a young rapper that does the Last Call Comics official theme. It's mine. I mean, I paid for it. He did 2 verses, and he made the beat and everything. It did cost a pretty penny, but I love it, and it's mine. I can use that whenever I want, and no one can do anything about it. But if I needed something, if I needed a song, I can call Luke up and say, Luke, let's just have a cross promotion. And only difference is I don't want Luke singing. I want the actual talent people in the group singing.
Yeah. One of the first indie comics I ever picked up actually had a band associated with their comic,
Mhm.
and they would put out a little independent soundtrack that would give you would buy the comic and you would get the independent soundtrack with it. And I thought that was one of the coolest things ever. I got for like 3 issues, and that's all I know that they made for sure, but it was really cool.
Ooh, Luke, are you a lead your band?
Well, yeah.
I gotta
Yes
hear
and no.
music. You gotta send me some links.
Yeah, it's DaveHatesIt.com.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was going to say that this book I'm doing with Travis, it's pretty cool. We're actually cross promoting a band in it. So there's this group that he knows called Sleeping Giants, and so they're actually going to be in the book, like 3rd, 4th page. So they're in the book, and so they're going to help promote the book. But we're also talking about them and the charity that they do, around the book. Like, hey, these guys, we're pointing them back because of the whole wave of the charity. We can't talk about the charity in the book because it's for profit. But we're trying to bring awareness to who they are and what they're doing through the book we're doing. So they're a part of it.
Yeah, it won't completely like stop me dead in my tracks, but I do like take notice.
All right, gentlemen. We're at about an hour mark. Does anyone have to get off right now? This is usually why I ask if anyone does have something else they need to do.
Yeah, I gotta go run and beat some people up. Okay. I gotta screw a TV to the wall.
Tell people where they can find you.
Oh, guys, you can find me on the interwebs, KYD_V on Twitter, IndieVolt.com on Facebook, IndieVolt TV on Roku. IndieVolt TV, IndieVolt Radio, LastCallComics.com. All those places. I'm all over.
He's all over. All right, thanks for being on, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me. You guys have a great day. Luke, I'm gonna go stalk your band right now.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, you guys have a good day.
You too, man.
All right, so let's talk about how professional a video has to be. Does someone really Kevin touched on this. Is this really all we need right now? Are we overthinking it? Especially with StreamYard being free if you have a laptop camera. I mean, there's a lot of free software. And Kevin said that the people coming in are new and they don't know better. I'll be honest with you, that kind of bothers me as an answer. And Jackson, it bothers me as an answer because that means you ran into something. Would you be okay if a guy at a nuclear power plant was like, look, I just came in today. I didn't know what I was doing. I just pressed some buttons. Shit's going to go boom. No. So if you're coming to be professional, why are you just pressing things you don't understand? I think that's your responsibility to know that stuff, to understand it. And if you live in America, and I'm just only speaking for America, and you don't understand copyright, you're lying. You're lying because we all know about copyright. I know Brian and Luke, you're in America. Have you ever met anyone who doesn't understand copyright?
No, I haven't.
I've met a lot of people who are in denial.
Yes. We grew up with the FBI warning in our face on every movie we went to see. We got it at home. It was there. We've been warned about copyright. We're taught about it in school in America. Kevin, you're not from America. Is copyright as big a deal outside of the United States?
Yeah, I mean, Canada is just another state of the United States, so it's the same thing, dude.
But you get health care. Are you getting $2,000 a month right now? Is that true? Are you getting?
Not for me because I earn too much for that. But yeah, most of the person are right now having $2,000 a month for doing nothing and watching Netflix, which is pretty cool, man. I would love to. I'm glad for them.
I've done wrong in life not to get $2,000 to watch TV. I wouldn't even do a video. I'd be like, no, the government's paying me to be on television. Go away.
Yep, it's pretty cool and really easy to do the process, honestly. Just like you take your phone and there is like a pre-registered something and you just put your number in it and you receive $2,000 3 days after. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, I thought you were talking about making a video. No, but making a video, do we think we need heavy material?
Nah.
Like, do you need a backdrop? Do you need to go out and get professional grade stuff? Because I think a lot of people spend too much money on that stuff and they wind up losing.
Not for comics, man. Not for comics. I think it's really dependent on the category you are. If you are in the filmmaking category, yeah, man, I want to see your sexy gear. But for a comic book, I want to see the guy behind it, the creative mind. And you don't need to show off your skill. And for a filmmaker, you're not Steven Spielberg. If it's Steven Spielberg, yeah, I want to see a short film of your comic.
And all honesty, I don't know how many people I've sent to Kevin to ask him about it.
Yeah. But yeah, just grab your phone and say hi.
I'm just like, just ask this guy and link Kevin's name in the Facebook chat. That's what I usually do.
Thank you, man. It's really appreciated. But yeah, I mean, my answers are not just the greatest one. I mean, I think that I have a formula that works, but there is 100 of formula that work as well. I'm sure that there is someone is making really, really professional looking videos and is raising a shitload of money. But there is many ways. And Comic for Only it just made $2 million with holding his phone. So I guess I'm not really wrong.
And there's another guy on Facebook, and I can't remember for sure.
Brian probably do the same.
I'm not 100% sure who the guy is, but I think it's Nick Mack. I don't know if you ever heard of that guy, but that does like he'll run your whole Kickstarter campaign for you if you pay him to. I mean, I think that kind of like removes an element of obviously of contact with that creator. But if you feel like you can't do it, or if you feel like you don't know how to do it, then sometimes it pays to get people that can, and get people that know what they're doing.
Sure. Personally, I just do consulting. At the beginning, I was doing stuff like that, but I've seen that actually, first of all, I don't have time to do it because it's a lot of time. And second, though, it's just people connect with a creator, and if it's not a creator running the campaign behind it, it's fail. It's like when someone is speaking about his book and is not passionate about his story, you know it directly after 5 seconds that there is no passion in that project, and it's failed because of that. And it's the same thing, I really believe for a comic book, it's need to be the creator behind it. There is some exception. For example, Image Comic opened a comic book for relaunching, I don't know, Witchblade, and they make something with a professional trailer and put some artwork on it, and there is no creator really spotlight on in the thing. It works because they're pushing a franchise has been around, but when we're talking about hardcore indie comics, there is no way, you cannot pay a marketing firm behind it. Going to cost you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 and you're going to raise $2,000. Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But Kickstarter, yeah.
I was just going to say, no one can sell my product like I can. So
no, it's impossible.
Why would I want to put it in somebody else's hands?
It's impossible. And I think if you want to make an indie comic and you want it to be sold by another person, just stop making comics.
See, I kind of think that I can actually probably sell other people's stuff better than my own stuff.
Sure.
But at the same time, I always tell those same creators that are working with me that I'm trying to sell their stuff. I always tell them, you are the best, you are the best standard, or you are the best icon for your own work.
Sure.
You people want to buy from you. They don't really want to buy from me. They don't want to buy your work. When people show up at a con and I have like 5 comic books that are done by different creators, of course I have to try to sell that. But if I have that person sitting next to me, I go, yeah, this is the guy. He did this book and he did it with this in mind. And why don't you talk to him?
Sure.
Yeah, I think it always improves it to have the creator's hands in it. Have them all on it.
Well, I mean, I think you also lose authenticity with it because you're crowdfunding, you're not selling. This isn't a platform that's designed inherently just to sell your books. It is meant to crowdfund, and that means that you should somehow be part of it. Hiring a spokesman right away, what are you giving them? Why are they doing it? Where's that money coming from? Am I helping it? Let's be honest, when we're on Kickstarter, the prices aren't always exactly what you would get when you go to a store. And I still to this date don't like people who use Kickstarters as a storefront. I'd only try to use it to sell their books and not crowdfund something. Even if they're just giving something back to a local community with it, with a few extra bucks, that's fine by me. But do something to make it special. The people who show up and use this as a gimmick, the problem I have with them isn't what they're doing, it's that they're making the next creator's life harder. Because you're trying to make it a competitive platform when it's not supposed to be a competitive platform. We have all of our websites to do that. You're cashing in. Like Todd McFarlane, I don't care that he showed up. He said it honestly. Look, I want to make you something cool. I don't want to go through these corporate idiots. Please help me make this come true. Who didn't hear that and go, I get it. I get that. I don't want to deal with the corporate. Be honest, outside of their money, if I won the lottery, I would never try to be published again in my life. That would be the end of me trying to be published. I would never ask anyone to publish anything I did. I'd be happy to go to Comic Cons on my own. And I get the people representing you at cons. Brian's absolutely right. But if you're going to be doing it, I don't like the people who've monetized crowdfunding. Oh, take my class and I'll teach you how to be a great Kickstarter. Aren't you going against the grain now and deliberately causing these other creators to spend money? And what are you really teaching them? Something that changes every 6 months? Now, I do know someone who actually does a great class that does change with times, don't get me wrong. But you're still kind of making money off of other creators on something you never created. You've made yourself essentially a middleman. I don't know.
There's a website out there, and it's Stonemeyer Games, and it's Justin Stegmeyer has got this huge blog and several facts up about different Kickstarters, and they're all free to look at. They're all free to read, and I've pointed people in that direction, and they're just like, oh, it's too much to read, or oh, it's a lot of work, and it's like, well, what did you think was going to happen when you decided to do this? Did you think you were going to go, I'm putting my Kickstarter up and I'm a millionaire overnight?
Well, Brian, that actually goes to kind of a deeper problem. We've been talking now for an hour and 17 minutes about the Kickstarter videos and the importance of it and how to do it and that kind of stuff. There are people that will not listen past the first 5 or so minutes. Yeah. And they'll think they know everything, or they're like, I'll figure it out on my own. People do not want to put the time in to educate themselves on how to do it. They don't want to ask the questions. They just want to put up a campaign and get it done, and don't know why their stuff's not getting funded or why they can't make $1,000 or $2,000. They look at these other people that have been doing it and are working hard and hustling, and they don't know why their campaign is not making it. They just want to stick it up there, post it once a week, and just expect people to funnel themselves in, and they just don't want to put the work into being able to do it right.
Yeah, another like reasoning or argument I get with that too, with that using that website as a example, is people will say, well, that's for board games, and it's like, but there's a lot of stuff in there that is it correlates or is totally relevant to what we're doing.
Here's the question you should ask: is it a product, and is someone buying it?
Yep.
Right.
If they have a product and they got someone to buy it, how did they do that?
Yeah, and he's done like games on there, like he's done like 5 games that have all made over $1 million on Kickstarter. And it's like, why would you not listen to this guy?
Yep. And
excuse me.
Something is different. It's also, I think, something interesting, not interesting, but important for new creators is actually don't compare yourself to campaign like that. And I think that's the problem. Right. Yeah, sure. Take the example, because it's sure that you're going to find something interesting for you. But just, you're not running a campaign that the goal is $1 million. It's a really different way of marketing that you're going to do for your book. I mean, for example, I've been part of a campaign that we did raise $100,000 for a video game, but I have been part of comic book that raised $2,000. But for the $100,000 video game, we had a marketing firm on it that was helping us, and we did invest more than 25% of what we raised into marketing. So there was 25K that goes directly into marketing to raise 100K. So there is something also about the investment and what you're gonna raise. Like it's not realistic to think that you're gonna raise $100,000 without marketing injection or just if your product doesn't worth $100,000, because sometimes you make a comics that worth $2,000, it's worth $2,000, of investment. You cannot make $1 million with something that doesn't worth $1 million, and of course, if your reward is not balanced to raise $1 million, you're not going to raise $1 million.
Yeah, I see a lot. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Luke.
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I see a lot of people also overinflate their funding goal by way more than they really should.
Stretch goal.
And I think it's more like you should get the bare minimum of what you want to get and put it up there of what you need to get, and then hope for the overinflation, hope for the extra, but don't purposely inflate it for that,
Yeah,
Yes,
that's what I was going to say. I was going to lead into that a little bit. Is that not every project needs to make $2,000 or $100,000 or $1 million. That's not the point of it. Even if you look at Todd McFarlane's very successful campaign, he blasted his goal right away. So my last Kickstarter, the goal was $200 because I knew I was going to do a very conservative. Everything was already paid for. A little help on the print run. I'm going to pay for it anyway. Print run was going to be about $300-$400 for what I was going to do. And, $200 will definitely, that takes up the slack. Well, I wound up raising $31.60, so that's above and beyond, but
right.
Every step beyond that was just bonus. It was extra. I hit pretty early on that $200 that I needed. So, don't like you said, don't go for these big inflated numbers if you don't need them.
And something really important when you start a campaign is you need to have a goal and your real goal. And what I mean by that is, what's the minimum that you can actually raise to not be in trouble financially? That's your goal that you're going to set on campaign. But you need to be really intelligent with your stretch goal to reach your real goal. For example, you put your goal at $2,000, but your real goal is $10,000. You need to put the stretch goal to go there and just reach that number that you really want. And your goal need to be your safe spot, because it's better. For example, you think that this project is like the biggest Kickstarter you will ever have, and it's not the biggest Kickstarter that you ever have for X reason, or it did not connect with the audience at the moment you actually launched your campaign. But at least you're gonna have the minimum money you need to make the project, and the project gonna happen. It's better to make $3,000 than $3,000 and having like 500 backers that are not satisfied or just did not get a product because you did not reach your goal, and you don't have the money to make your project, so you need to restart again. So it's better to actually raise the minimum and make the extra money by selling the copies after the Kickstarter.
All right, I do want to ask this question before we lose any more time, because we're just about running out, but I do want to ask this, and it's more of a tongue-in-cheek, not about the video, but Kickstarter itself, but about the goal, since we're talking about it. We are in the overtime, so I'm going to ask this. Do you guys feel like when people or creators are asking for enough money to make the entire book, doesn't that make the book public property? I mean, if you're asking them to pay for every ounce of the work, every ounce of the editor, and that's what Marvel and DC do when they put a cover price on it. But when you're trying to make your diagram, well, I need to pay the artist. Well, does that mean I own the art now? So can I go to the Xerox copy and do it because I've invested in you like a stock? Like, do you ever guys feel that's odd? I don't care that they ask for the money. It's when they say, well, you're paying for the art. Does that mean I own the art now?
No, that would still be the copyright issue. You'd still run into that copyright issue. It's more like a publicly traded stock, like you were saying at that point, where you're investing in it's a publicly traded product, but
you own one of 100 shares of this book. So.
You can't start selling AT&T products without AT&T's permission.
Yeah, it's crowdfunding is a word for pre-order in some way. So there is a lot of products that are not funded before they got pre-order, and that's totally normal. I mean, like I'm the marketer for a baseball team, but each match that we have before that we sell our season tickets, we are in trouble of 1.5 million. So it's the same thing for crowdfunding. It's before your pre-order, you are in trouble. So it's just pre-order.
So I'm a pretty big smartass, so I made that comment online, and most people it was just a shine on comment. I didn't expect anyone to really get me back.
Oh God!
And one person actually turned around, and I give them a lot of credit. They turned around and went, "Well, do you get a comic from it?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's your stock, and when the stock goes up, you can sell that comic and get your money back." I was like, "Oh, snap!"
Nice response.
I was like, "Up, I lose, he wins." All right, guys. Speaking of winning, you guys are all winners. Tell people where they can follow you. We'll start with Luke because his head's down, and I just like picking on him.
Hi, my name is Luke Stone. I'm the writer and the artist behind Hybrids, the Sons of God. You can see some pictures right back there. I am in charge of all the words and scribbles. So you can check that out at starcrosscomics.com, or you can go to my website at lukestonestudios.com. I do have a couple specials going on right now on Facebook. We have a new cover that we will be doing some last-minute pre-orders for, covered by Ted Davies. So that'll be kind of neat. So make sure to check those things out, and just go to my website, and then you can find all my social media stuff there. So
apparently Kevin's the watchman.
Hi, I'm a clock. You can find me on the wall. Okay, that was pretty wrong. No, that was lame. Sorry. You can find me everywhere, Kevin Roditelli, and I have a Freak Snow coming out in Diamond distribution starting in December. So you can already be like, oh, I gotta polish that thing, and it's gonna be a monthly ongoing. So we're gonna make one book per month, release in your comic book store starting in December until enough people buy it, so I don't go broke.
And Brian.
Okay, you can usually find me on Facebook by following the flames of people's political aggravation, but better to find me on the Facebook at facebook.com/darkelfdesigns and find out some of what we're doing over there, and check out our work and check out all our creators' work. So,
and you can find me on the new comicbookadvocates.com. It's just like Indie Advocates, but it supports everyone without any lines. We wanted to bring together the entire comic book community. However, like Brian said, we're not stopping our focus on indie creators. When we talk about other comic book news, it'll be inside of a thread, and it'll be links to other sites that are doing the job. I don't want to cover Marvel. Marvel's got a great PR team. So does DC. My heart's always going to be for the independent creators. We're moving away from indie just because indie's kind of been co-opted into something that has sides, and I don't like sides. I like comic books. As a matter of fact, I love comic books. So we're going to be comic book advocates from now on. Same site, same energy, same love, just a better, more inclusive name that it encourages everyone to come to our site who love comic books. And I'm on Kickstarter. If you guys could just give me $1, you get a reward on my Kickstarter. And the reason I'm asking people to even just give $1 is because it generates buzz. And with Facebook being mad at me for as much as the advocating I could do, I could really use some of that buzz to keep my project into people's hands. We're doing great. $600 just got us a stretch goal. I haven't even had time today to announce it yet on the Kickstarter. Everyone who backed physical will be getting a free copy of Jax the Anderson. So anyone who backed it gets a free comic book now on a physical level. I'm doing that for everyone because I wanted to give something back. I know these times are treacherous. So that's limited to the first 100 physical backers. But if that's a problem I have at 100, I might just print more books. Just
can you throw that link up here, Rob?
I can put it in
on the page.
On the page, yeah.
All right, that'll work.
Yeah, and I appreciate everyone who is supporting Kickstarters right now. A little bit of good news at the end of this. I don't know how it'll turn out, but there's been a lot of good news with C19 today, it seems. There's been a lot of people who are reporting new therapies, and looks like we're going to open up in Florida next week. Not fully, but restaurants are going to begin to open, so there's hope. We might just get out of this yet, kids. So continue to be positive, support each other, show love to each other, show compassion to each other, and just be overall just a good person. Treat people how you want to be treated. That matters so much more now than ever. Let's let all the bullshit go away, and let's just start talking about what we love and do it respectfully. Let other people have the room to disagree with you and have different ideas, and just support each other. And seriously, let's just be better than we've been before. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for being on the panel. You guys made it amazing. And I'm out of here. That's it for today. We'll see you back here tomorrow when we talk about the importance of branding. And of course, you're going to hear a lot about me talking about switching a brand in the middle of a pandemic. So we'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Yeah, and Cat and Dad Super Mom look just super rad. Honestly, the heart is super cool. I'm on the campaign right now. Everyone go back this, and I'm dropping my money at the moment.
Thanks, Kevin. All right, guys. Remember, be kind and share. Now that's a good